Hello, my amazing tribe. I'm excited to connect with you through this video. Hello and a warm welcome to our channel. Today, we're delving into Palasinaz Lakes, Italy. The Palasinaz Lakes in Italian are a group of lakes located in the Italian Alps, in the Aosta Valley region of northern Italy. They are of glacial origin and are situated in the southern foothills of the Monte Rosa group and are accessible from the villages of Brusson and Champoluc. The group is composed of the following lakes: the Lac Long, the Lago Pocia, the Lac du Couloir, the Lac Vert, and the Lago della Battaglia. Above them rises Corno Bussola, Mont de Boussolaz, a mountain in the Pennine Alps. In this section, we'll be deep diving into location, unraveling its complexities and uncovering valuable insights. The Palasinaz Lakes are located in the Val d'Aosta, in the northwestern region of the Aosta Valley, in the province of Aosta. This is one of the mountainous regions of Italy along the border with France and Switzerland. The Val d'Aosta denomination is modern, mainly used following the birth of mountaineering. The territory of Aosta, at the top of the valley, then became a pole of attraction. The previous cartography uses the denomination Val Chalant or Val de Chalant Aosta. Now, let's delve into the intricacies of Brusson and explore its various aspects. The municipality of Brusson is above sea level, is located in the middle of Val d'Aosta, between the town of Chalon-Saint-Anselme and the city of Aosta in the Aosta Valley. The village is home to 852 inhabitants, who recognize both French and Italian as languages. Brusson is a tourist destination, characterized by a particularly mild climate. The landscape is full of springs and lakes and is the destination for walks in the summer. In winter, Brusson is a destination for many cross-country and Nordic skiing enthusiasts, offering over slopes that have been host to various international ski competitions. Get ready for an exciting exploration as we unravel the mysteries of Estall. The village of Estall can be reached from Brusson, where the downhill slopes cross the larch forests and go towards Punta Palasinaz. Estall is part of the municipality of Brusson, from which it is located away, in the province of Aosta, in the Val d'Aosta region. The locality of Estall is located above sea level and is characterized by pastures and pine forests. 9 families live in the village of Estall, which has a total of 19 inhabitants. In this village there are 52 buildings, but only 41 are used, of which 32 are for residential purposes, while 9 are intended for commercial or other use. It is located in the upper part of the Messauri stream valley on the eastern side of the Val d'Aosta. From the village of Brusson, it is possible to reach the village by a steep but practicable asphalted road, which ends at an altitude of In the following segment, we'll be examining the 5 lakes in greater detail. The Palasinaz Lakes area, located above Brusson, is a high-altitude lake environment set in a natural environment of fertile alpine pastures. Its name derives from the term patois, which stands for steep pasture, as evidenced by medieval documentary sources. This area consists of several lakes, all of which were formed through glacial excavation. Lac Long, located below the Corno Bussola; Long Lake, Lac Pocia, Little Lake, which is at the base of the Palasinaz Hill. The view from the Lac Pocia is wider than the view from the other lakes due to the higher altitude reached. The lake has an unrivaled amount of colors ranging from light gray to light blue, blue, green, brown, with almost clear boundaries between one color and another. Lac du Couloir, Corridor Lake, whose waters, together with those of Lac Vert, Green Lake, flow into the great Lago della Battaglia, Lake of Battle. This last lake is the largest of the group and is characterized by a trapezoidal shape and a large promontory that almost divides the entire lake in two. The Lac du Couloir is located in a small glacial excavation basin. Type Feature Collection Features. Now, let's shift our perspective and explore climate from a different angle. The climate in the Palasinaz Lakes area is cold and temperate. Temperatures often fall below 0°C during the second half of September, and start to rise back up again above 0°C in the second half of May. During the warmest months, July and August, precipitation averages with about 15 to 16 days of rain per month, and during cold months precipitation averages around. Cold temperature also increases the possibility of significant snowfalls in the area and on the pass. Consequently, the lakes partially freeze usually between October and April. In the upcoming portion, we'll be dissecting geology to gain a comprehensive understanding of its implications. The lakes are located along the Aosta Valley fault line, which began to form a part of the Franco-Italian Alps between 40 and 49 million years ago. Ancient remains of volcanic chimneys dating back to the Oligocene epoch, approximately 35 to 22 have been found in the Palasinaz Lakes area. These volcanic chimneys, whose cones are now not visible, are composed of dark-colored andesite and lamprophile rocks. Other geological characteristics include rust-colored micaschist at the top of Punta Palasinaz, as well light green schist and calcite formations in the area. Let's now venture into the realm of ancient history and explore the fascinating intricacies it holds. The Palasinaz Lakes area's history dates back to ancient times. It is believed that the lakes were used as a natural cemetery for people who lost their lives in the mines nearby. They are believed to have been first used by Seleucid tribe, and later on by the Romans, whose presence was evidenced by the discovery of coins dating back to the Roman period. The lakes were important for sustaining local villages, due to the presence of fresh water and wide pastures. Let's now turn our attention to the feudal era and examine its role within the larger context. In the feudal era, stretch of time between the 5th and 13th centuries, the peasants and shepherds of the Alps had to provide the lord with butter, cheese, and other products of the earth. The existence of villages, such as a stall from the Latin term stabulum, barn, stall, is evidenced by documents of that period. In the 13th century, the area of the Palasinaz was called Palasinaz, and it was in possession of the lords of Gressany. It appeared in 1323 in the Brusson of Champoluc, and even earlier in the account of the feudal investiture of Godefroy of Chalant, dated 28 July 1263, in which the amount of money that the nobles had to pay yearly to the convent of San Maurizio Agons for these lands was set. In this section, we'll be peeling back the layers of conflicts on Lago della Battaglia to reveal its true essence. The biggest lake of the area, Lago della Battaglia, owes its name to a clash that took place on its shores either during the 30 Years' War 1619–1648, where the Holy Roman Empires were in conflict with the network of Protestant towns and principalities, or during the Napoleonic Wars 1803–1815, where Great Britain and France fought for supremacy over Europe. Approximately 600 men lost their lives in the conflict. In this same period, Col della Ranzola was fortified. As we progress through this video, let's shift our attention towards fauna and uncover its hidden depths. The area is the habitat of many different mountain animals, such as eagles and alpine ibexes, of which the latter are mainly sighted on the summit of the Corno Bussola. There have also been sightings of roe deer, chamois, marmots, and black grouses in the region. According to the Regional Agency for Environmental Protection, Lac Pocia is characterized by fish fauna but lacks aquatic vegetation, although its banks are rich in cotton grass. However, both aquatic vegetation and fish species are present in and around Lago della Battaglia. Now, let's shift our perspective and explore flora from a different angle. The Aosta Valley, despite being the smallest region in Italy and largely made up of sterile rocks and glaciers, preserves a distinct biodiversity. This region is home to over 2,000 different plants, which represent about 40% of all plant species in Italy. The great variety of species is due to the many natural habitats present in the area, diversified according to altitude, exposure, rainfall, and geological substrate. A diverse range of alpine plant species are found in the Palasinaz Lakes region towards the end of June, including Vitelina primulifera, wild tulips, and Erythrigium nanum. There are also various species of artemisias in the area, including the one used for the production of genpi. Now let's dig deeper into the Alp Botanical Garden and unveil the hidden treasures it holds within. A botanical garden is located near the Alp Refuge, which aims to preserve the plant life in the area. It contains 84 species of plants, a wetland and a path with some of the typical rocks of the Aosta Valley area. Within the botanical garden there are many medicinal plants, flowers from the Valdeas area and many other plant species, including rosettes, fat-leaved plants and Eriophyllum schucheri. Many of these plants can be exclusively found in the botanical garden and not in the surrounding wildlife. Let's now turn our gaze towards the Parque di Berio and explore the fascinating connections it has to offer. The Parque di Berio, built starting in the summer of 2005 and inaugurated in 2009, is located behind the ARP Refuge and has 17 types of rocks that characterize the Aosta Valley and the Aosta Valley. Set up upstream of the rock to complete the area dedicated to alpine flora, a small geological path has been created and collects the most significant rocks of the region. Each sample, accompanied by an explanatory tag, tells a piece of the history of the Aosta Valley. The Alps of the Aosta Valley are filled with lithologies, among the richest in the world. Thanks to the internal movements of the Earth's crust, they overlap and interpenetrate each other. Some of the most important rocks are gypsum evaporic rock, Mont Blanc granite magmatic rock, limestone sedimentary rock, and Carniola carbonate rock. As we enter this new phase, let's analyze recreational activities from different angles and evaluate its significance. Multi-day walking in the area is provided by the Refugio ARP, a mountain hut situated on a broad plateau at. During the summer, numerous sports activities such as trekking, climbing, mountain biking, fishing and horse riding can be carried out. As we transition to the next segment, let's unravel the mysteries surrounding Refugio ARP and gain a fresh perspective. The ARP Refuge is located in the Upper Aosta Valley in the Palasinaz region. The refuge, situated at the center of a meeting point between several paths on a large grassy terrace at above sea level in the Palasinaz Valley, is located on various mountain walking itineraries in the area of the Palasinaz and Valfred Lakes. Refugio ARP can be reached in about 2 hours on foot or by mountain bike starting from Estall. The refuge has 19 rooms, furnished in a rustic mountain style, and a restaurant that serves traditional dishes of the Aosta Valley. During the winter the refuge can only be reached with snowshoes and mountaineering skis. The refuge is the starting point for several peaks in the area. Let's now shift gears and explore hiking routes through a critical lens, uncovering its strengths and weaknesses. The Palasinaz Lakes represent one of the most important elements of glacial origin in the Monte Rosa group. There are several paths that encompass the Palasinaz Lakes area, including turning our focus to path, Palasinaz Hill Route 14. Let's explore its key elements. Path, Palasinaz Hill Route 14. This path, designated path number 14, starts from Champoluc. It is recommended to experienced mountain walkers as it is long and demanding, with a height gain of almost 500 meters. This path ascends via Mascobnas on the Palasinaz Hill in about 3.5 hours. From the top of the Palasinaz Hill, the descent to the lakes is less physically demanding. The path becomes grassy and downhill on the stretch towards Lac du Couloir, the first lake on the route located just below the hill. As we transition, let's shed light on path, Estall Lagi Palasinaz Route Urb and its relevance to our ongoing exploration. Path, Estall Lagi Palasinaz Route Urb. In order to reach the summit in the shortest possible time, the Refugio ARP, Littorin Lake and the crossing of the Col Bringas are excluded from this route. It incorporates some flat paths, normally used by beginners and families with children. This ascent can also be utilized as the approach to excursions requiring more experience. One of these is Itinerary 42, which leads to Corno Bussola, a mountain in the Pennine Alps. This path is known as the Itinéraire de Fromage and is linked to several mountain pastures. The start is in the car park at the beginning of the dirt road before the ascent to the refuge. Continuing the climb and following the yellow signs indicating routes 5 and 6, the trail goes up one of the local ski slopes. After passing the chairlifts from Estoul and rejoining the gravel road, crossing the Chavanalp allows the entrance to the Palasinaz Valley. There is a shorter deviation, bypassing Lake Littorin. There are two alternative routes which both led to the Refugio Alp. The one on the right leads to the Alpeggio Palasinaz Inferior, while the one on the left leads to the Alpeggio Superior. After rejoining Path 4, the path continues to Lago della Battaglia or Lac de la Battaglia, the first of the 5 lakes. There is a small stone bridge here, which replaced the previous weir in 2006. At this point, there are 3 options: stop here, continue south towards the Col Bringues, or northwest towards the Col Palasinaz and the Corno Bussola. The second choice is convenient if the route is snowy or in case of little experience in trekking on the mountains. Moving ahead, let's uncover the hidden gems within Path, Lakes Corno Bussola, and discover their significance. A second bridge is reached along the northern shore of Lago della Battaglia. There is a small canal in correspondence with this bridge, which connects the previous lake with Lac Vert or Lago Verde. Following the main route, the trail continues to the right towards Lac du Couloir and Col de Palasinaz. The less demanding variant heads straight for the Corno Bussola. At above sea level, the Col Palasinaz, which joins Vallone Palasinaz with Vallone de Mascobnes, the first encounters with ibexes can occur. Climbing towards the Corno Bussola, following the trail that takes about an hour, Lac Pocia or Lac della Pocia is reached. It is then possible to observe the steep ascent, which runs entirely along the ridge, leading to the next lake, Lac Long or Lago Lungo. This lake has deep blue waters and is dominated by the rocky walls of the Punta del Lago or Cima del Lago, and a crossroad joins the route to the one descending from the Corno Bussola. Here, the first stretches equipped with fixed ropes as handrails and metal steps commence, assisting hikers in proceeding on the path along an exposed ledge. The route continues along the entire length of the crest, up to the destination. On the ridge, it is possible to see edelweiss bushes, typical of high altitudes. On the summit of the Corno Bussola or Mont de Boussolaz, the highest elevation in the area, there is a large metal cross made up of 24 cubic elements, at the base of which is the summit register. Trekkers can fill it in, leaving a message for future hikers. From the top, it is also possible to view other important mountains such as the Matterhorn, Mont Blanc, Gran Paradiso, and many others. As we enter this new phase, let's navigate the complexities of Curiosity's Lago de Bringues and discover its practical applications. Curiosity's Lago de Bringues. In addition to the 5 main lakes, the nearby Bringues Lake at an altitude of is located immediately to the east of Punta Gu and to the west of Monte Rosa. The Bokshit Pass or Col de Bringues southeast of the Corno Bussola and immediately north of the lake acts as a connection between the Palasinaz Lakes. Situated at the bottom of a grassy hollow, enclosed by high rock walls, the lake is a deep basin of rather large dimensions. The latter is further accentuated by the steepness of the depression. It is possible to reach Bringues Lake by trail number 3, which starts above sea level, along the road between Brusson and Estoul, and reaches the lake in 3 to 3.5 hours, climbing first to the village of Bringues at above sea level before continuing to the Chavan Alpine pasture. However, it is a rather steep itinerary with a considerable difference in altitude. For this reason, it is not recommended to visit the area when weather warnings in the area are present, especially if there are southerly winds. According to popular legends, the lake is also called the Black Lake of Bringues and was known as one of the many witches' lakes. Due to the almost vertical walls surrounding the lake and the particular exposure to the air from the south, violent thunderstorms can easily occur. These are caused by the warm and humid southerly currents that can condense and form clouds, rain and hail. It is said that the lake was inhabited by witches with long hair that would create clouds and hail, evidenced by the fact that sometimes hairs were found in the grains. A piglet was responsible for driving the storm over the cultivated fields, causing immense damage. Stay connected and join our community by subscribing and following me on other platforms.